Hello everyone, I am Harsimrat and I welcome you to our session on the S and Sh sounds. Both the sounds are consonants, we know that. S is an alveolar sound. And what's the alveolar sound? The alveolar sound is a sound in which the tip of the tongue goes to the teeth ridge. We remember where the teeth ridge is, don't we? The same place where we articulated the T and the D. S is an alveolar sound. Alveolar sounds involve the alveolar ridge as the passive articulator. The active articulator may be either the tip of the tongue or sometimes the blade of the tongue. In this case, the tip of the tongue has to go to the teeth ridge, which is the area here but inside the mouth. Sh is slightly different. Sh is a plateau alveolar sound. In this, the tip or blade of the tongue articulates with the back area of the alveolar ridge. Actually, the tongue bends a little when you say sh. In S, it remains more or less straight. In sh, it bends a little. So, there is more area of the tongue which comes close to the teeth ridge. Both the sounds are voiceless sounds. If we place a hand here on the vocal cords, s, sh, s, sh, we will not feel much vibration. They are both light sounds. This session is quite important because a lot of us tend to mix up the two sounds. We know of people. Now that we are aware of these things, we will notice people around us who may be unable to say sh and may say only sir. You'll notice people who are unable to say sir and will say only sh. A lot of us might get confused when we try to say a word like social studies. We may say social or social. And in order to have good pronunciation, it's quite important for us to rectify this problem. Therefore, I'll ask you to be very serious in this session and to continue your efforts to speak better. Alright, let's start off with the S sound. A quick recap. In the S sound, the tip of the tongue comes close to the alveolar. And when the breath passes through, there is audible friction. Everybody please join me when I say it's a continuous sound. It will carry on as long as the breath carries on. When I stop the breath, the sound stops. At the point where the breath stops, the sound will stop. So everybody, please make sure that your S is accompanied by audible friction. ये आवाज हमें सुननी चाहिए. S, 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 S के साथ साथ ये फ्रिक्शन की साउंड भी सुननी चाहिए. Now let's look at a few words with the S sound. Everybody please repeat these words after me. Sun, sun, soap, soap, list, list, strange, strange, police, police. We are habituated to hearing people say pulse or something shorter, but let's say it properly. Police. This, this, smell, smell, impressive, impressive, emphasizes, emphasizes. Tell me, where in the word you have the S sound? Emphasizes. Next, synonyms. Synonyms. Synonyms are words which have the same meaning. Next, persons. Persons. The next word, explain. Explain. Did you notice the sir sound? Let me exaggerate it again. Explain. Once more, explain. Understood. Understood. Stink. Stink. Someone. Someone. And the last word, I hope it does not describe anybody in the room. Disinterested. Disinterested. I'm sure nobody's disinterested. Next, we have a very interesting activity for you. I would like you to open your workbooks and be ready with your pencils and your pens. In this activity, in the first column, there are a series of situations. In the next column, there are words all with the letter S. They're all verbs. And you have to match the column. First of all, I'll read out the column A and then we'll go on to column B. If you are happy, you blank. If you are tired, you something. In a choir, you do something. If you're learning salsa, you do something. You dream when you are in a certain state. If you are scared, you something. In a line, you something. On a red light, you do something. The road, you do something. Your teeth, you do something. For your dinner, you do something again. Your clutter, clutter when your things are in a mess. It may refer to rubbish. Your clutter, you do something about. Your coffee, you do something to it. And finally, on the wet floor, you do something. Let's look at the words in column B. And why don't you read them out after me too? Dance, scream, smile. Smile, everybody. Smile. Asleep, rest, stand, sing, cross, slip, sip, stop, floss, sit, sort. Now please do your work and in a minute we'll discuss the solutions. Did you enjoy attempting that? I must say I loved the activity and I hope you did too. Now let's discuss the solutions. If you're happy, you, yes, smile. If you're tired, you rest. In a choir, you sing. Now a choir normally is related to the church. These are the Christian religious songs which are sung in a group. If you're learning salsa, that's the famous Mexican dance. If you're learning salsa, you dance. You dream when you are asleep. And I hope nobody is sleeping in that room. I'm glad to see you all wide awake. If you're scared, you scream. In a line, you stand. On a red light, you stop. I hope you do. The road, you cross. Your teeth, you floss. Do you know what floss means? Brushing and flossing are two related terms. For your dinner, you sit. Your clutter, you sort. Your coffee, you sip. And finally, a warning, on the wet floor, you slip. So be careful. Lovely activity, wasn't it? I hope your pronunciation or your enunciation of the S sound is clear by now. In case it isn't, don't lose heart. Okay, just practice the sound. What's important is the friction really. A lot of us don't have the friction right. And of course, the place of articulation should also be correct. The tip of your tongue should be near your teeth ridge. Let's enunciate the sound once more. Sir, 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 sir. I hope no sirs are mixed up with shers. In case they are, you need loads of practice. Now let's look at the sir sound in sentences. These sentences are given in your workbooks. I'll read out the sentences. I want you to underline the words where you hear the sir sound. I miss you every single second that passes by. I miss you every single second that passes by. Now there are lots of words with the sir sound. Miss, single, second, also passes. Next, focus on the journey, not the destination. Focus on the journey, not the destination. There are two words with the sir sound, focus and destination. And I want you to tell me, what's the difference between the journey and the destination? Think about it, discuss it with your friends, and come to an answer. Next sentence. Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love. Every time you smile at someone, it is an action of love. The words with the sir sound are smile and someone. Next, he tried to explain the incident to the police. He tried to explain the incident to the police. The words explain, incident, and police all have the sir sound. Next sentence. I am very interested in the subject called science. It's my favorite subject. The words with the sir sound are interested, subject, and science. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. So these are two linking sentences. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. There are two words we should have underlined. Happiness and actions. Happiness and something. And the last sentence. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I love this sentence. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. So the words with the sir sound are scream and ice cream. With that, we come to the end of the sentences. Now we have a very interesting activity for you. You have to complete the idioms with sir sound words. Please open your workbooks and pick up your pencils or your pens. I hope you know what idioms are. Idioms are muhavras. So this activity has a dual purpose. Not only will we familiarize ourselves with more and more words with the sir sounds, we'll also improve on our usage and language skills. Let's begin the activity. Slow and blank wins the race. You've got two options, sturdy and steady. Slow and blank wins the race. Next, hearing that song again was a blast from the dash. The options are past and pasta. Hearing that song again was a blast from the dash, either past or pasta. Next, she was in a dash over the trip arrangements. The options are either stood or stew. She was in a dash over the trip arrangements. Stood or stew. Next, Rajan reached home safe and dash. The options are stunned and sound. Stunned, sound. Next, a rolling stone gathers no dash, moss or mass. A rolling stone gathers no moss or mass. Next, dash makes the heart grow fonder. Is it essence or absence? Dash makes the heart grow fonder. Essence or absence. Next, the book sold like hot dash, cokes or cakes. The book sold like hot cokes or cakes. Next, it was raining cats and dash. Would it be dots or dogs? Yesterday. It was raining cats and dash yesterday. The options are dots or dogs. Please complete the exercise and then we'll discuss the solutions. Let's look at the solutions. Slow and steady wins the race. Remember the hare and tortoise story? At the end of the story, the moral normally is that slow and steady wins the race. Next, hearing that song again was a blast from the past. Something which makes you remember a time gone by. A blast from the past. Next, she was in a stew over the trip arrangements. In a stew means in a fix. So the right option would be stew. S-T-E-W. Next, Rajan reached home safe and sound. Safe and sound, bilkul theek thak. And I hope nobody has taken the other option, safe and stunned. That's almost oxymoronic. Ulta matlab ho jata hai. Safe and sound. Next, a rolling stone gathers no moss. A rolling stone gathers no moss. Next, absence makes the heart grow fonder. The right option is absence. Next, the book sold like hot cakes. Hot cakes, something which is in demand. The book sold like hot cakes and not cokes, although we may think coke is more in demand than cake. The last one, it was raining cats and dogs yesterday. Now, raining cats and dogs means heavy rain. Therefore, the right option is dogs, the animal. With that, we come to the end of the activity. Now, let's move on to the next sound, which is the sh sound. We have discussed before that there's something in common between the two sounds. Both the sounds are voiceless. They're light sounds. But other than that, there is some difference too. In the sh sound, the tip and the blade of the tongue moves close to the back of the teeth ridge. It's not an alveolar sound. It's called a plateau alveolar sound. Actually, when you say sh, there's some bending of the tongue. Try it, everybody. Shh. When we ask somebody to keep quiet, shh, That is the sound. And one more thing, the sound is a fricative. So it can go on, it's a continuous sound. It can go on until the breath runs out or until we stop the sound. Why did the sound stop? Because I stopped it. Or it could have carried on. It's a continuous sound. Everybody once more with me. Everyone. Make sure you can enunciate the sound. Now let's look at the sound in words, and I want all of you to repeat the words after me. Make sure that the enunciation of the sh is correct. English. English. Make sure the sh is audible, and please don't say English. English. Should. Should. Finish. Finish. Share. Share. Flourish. Flourish. Lavish. Lavish. Workshop. Workshop. Suggestion. Suggestion. Accomplish. Accomplish. Specially. Specially. Establish. Establish. Shyness. Shyness. Distinguish. Distinguish. Publisher. Publisher. Schedule. Schedule. Communication. Communication. And the last word, cash. Cash. Everybody once more. Shh. Shh. Good. Next, we have another interesting activity. Here you have to name the places with the sh sound. It may be the name of a country, a state, or a city. The first question. Which country is the largest in the world in terms of land area? दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा देश कौन सा है? Which country is the largest in the world in terms of land area? And we've given you a clue. It starts with R and ends with A. Next, our neighbor in the east. Our neighbor in the east. It starts with B and ends with H. I'm sure you got that one. Next, one of the most populated cities in China. One of the most populated cities in China. It ends with H-A-I. Next, a lot of cricket matches are played there. I'm sure a lot of you do watch cricket matches and you'll know this. A lot of cricket matches are played there. It ends with J-A-H. Next, a famous historical city in Pakistan. It starts with P-E. A famous historical city in Pakistan. Next, summer capital of India during British rule. Summer capital of India during British rule. It ends with L-A. Next, an island nation and a favorite tourist destination. an island nation, and a favorite tourist destination. What is this famous country? Starts with M-A. Now let's discuss the answers to the quiz. Which country is the largest in the world in terms of land area? That is something I'm sure you would know. It is Russia. Next, our neighbor in the east. Our neighbor in the east. Well, we have at least two neighbors in the east, but this one is Bangladesh. The other would be Myanmar. Next, one of the most populated cities in China. This famous city is Shanghai. Next, a lot of cricket matches are played there. I'm sure you do have this answer. It is Sharjah. Next, a famous historical city in Pakistan. This is Peshawar. In Punjab, we sometimes call it Peshawar as well. Next, summer capital of India during British rule. This is Shimla. The British used to have the summer capital in Shimla and the winter capital in Delhi. Next, an island nation and a favorite tourist destination. This is Mauritius. And we are familiar with Mauritius these days because so many of our movies are shot there, correct? Okay, so how many did you get correct? Quite a few. Even if you didn't, I think it's all interesting snippets of information. Now let's go on to read some sentences in which there are words with sh sound. The sentences are printed in your workbooks. I'd like you to pick up a pen and underline all the words with the sh sound. I'm going to read the first sentence now. She shot an arrow in the dark. She shot an arrow in the dark. The words with the sh sound are she and shot. Next, communication is vital these days. Communication is vital these days. The word with the sh sound, yes, you're right, communication. Next, acting is not being emotional, but being able to express emotion. Acting is not being emotional, but being able to express emotion. The words with the sh sound, emotional and emotion. Next, I think I should share this piece of information with you. I think I should share this piece of information with you. I hope you have underlined the following words: should, share, and information. Next, should she go for shopping? Should she go for shopping? It sounded like a lot of sh, but the words individually are should, she, and shopping. Next sentence. The shoemaker was too shy to talk. Shoemaker, or the shoe part of the word, and shy. I still cherish the memories of our fashion show. Words with the sh sound would be cherish, fashion, and show. Next, one should finish his work on time. One should finish his work on time. The words with the sh sound, should and finish. Next, pay attention to the proportion of spices in the food. Pay attention to the proportion of spices in the food. The two big words in the sentence have the sh sound: attention and proportion. And the last sentence: any suggestion about what do we do with this huge amount of cash? Any suggestion about what do we do with this huge amount of cash? The sentences with the sh sound: suggestion and cash. So I hope you were able to identify most of the words, if not all of them. Let's move on to another very interesting activity. In this activity, you have to fill in the blanks with sh sound words. It is a vocabulary building activity along with an activity in which we get to know more and more words in which we employ the sh sound. Ready with your workbooks, everybody? Good. A big house is called a dash. And of course, you have some clues. The word begins with M and ends with N. A big house is called a dash. Next, if you follow the latest trends in clothes, you are interested in dash. It starts with F and ends with N. If you follow the latest trends in clothes, you're interested in something. Next, the process of sharing ideas and thoughts is called dash. To go through your course again is dash, starting with R, ending with N. To go through your course again is dash, starting with R, ending with N. Next, when you retire from a government job, you get a dash, starting with P, ending with N. When you retire from a government job, you get a dash, starting with P, ending with N. Next, when you give an idea to somebody, you make a dash, starting with S, ending with N. When you give an idea to somebody, you make a dash. You make a starting with S, ending with N. And the last one, if you eat too much, you will have dash, starting with I, ending with N. If you eat too much, you will have dash, starting with I, ending with N. Let us discuss the answers. A big house is called a mansion. M-A-N-S-I-O-N. Pronounced mansion. Next, if you follow the latest trends in clothes, you are interested in fashion. I'm sure you can spell that. The process of sharing ideas and thoughts is called communication. Communication. Next, to go through your course again is called revision. What you do before the exams? Revision. Next, when you retire from a government job, you get a pension. Pension. When you give an idea to somebody, you make a suggestion. Suggestion. And the last one, if you eat too much, you have indigestion. Indigestion. With that, we come to the end of the activity, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now we have another activity for you. This activity covers both the sounds, s and sh. Listen carefully and choose the word with the right sound. The first one. Ishan's mother asked him to sort or short his toys. Ishan's mother asked him to sort or short his toys. Next, Meena wanted to live in a plus or plush house. Meena wanted to live in a plus or plush house. Next, after cleaning the chimney, he was covered in soot or shoot. After cleaning the chimney, he was covered in soot or shoot. Next, stop fighting, for God's sake, or shake. Stop fighting, for God's sake, or shake. Next, I watched the first show or so of the movie Three Idiots. I watched the first show or so of the movie Three Idiots. Next, the pretty sly bride or the pretty shy bride looked beautiful in her wedding dress. The pretty sly or shy bride looked beautiful in her wedding dress. Next, Rama managed to avoid the accident, but it was a close save or shave. Rama managed to avoid the accident, but it was a close save or shave. Next, Tina wanted the same or shame dress as her sister. Tina wanted the same or shame dress as her sister. And the last one, the teacher asked Tarun's father to shine or sign Tarun's report card. The teacher asked Tarun's father to shine or sign Tarun's report card. Complete the sentences quickly and then we'll discuss the answers. Ishan's mother asked him to sort his toys. ठीक करके रखो. Don't leave your room in a mess. That's called sort. Sort his toys. Meena wanted to live in a plush house. A plush house is a grand house. After cleaning the chimney, he was covered in soot. Next, stop fighting, for God's sake. Stop fighting, for God's sake. Not for God's sake. That sounds very funny. Next, I watched the first show of the movie Three Idiots. Next, the pretty shy bride looked beautiful in her wedding dress. Next, Rama managed to avoid the accident, but it was a close shave. A close shave? Something which is very close. Next, Tina wanted the same dress as her sister. Next, the teacher asked Tarun's father to sign Tarun's report card. I think this activity is very illuminating because it brings a certain problem before us or makes a certain problem very clear. At times, people tend to mix up these two sounds. So when I want to say something like sign and I end up saying shine, so just imagine the impact it has on the listener. The teacher asked Tarun's father to shine his report card. How will the father shine it? With polish? It gives a very comical sort of an effect. Similarly, Tina wanted the shame dress. There's nothing called a shame dress. Now for the last activity in this activity oriented session. Here you have to replace the highlighted adjectives with its synonym from the options given. Let me read the questions along with the options and we'll discuss the answers right away. Jashan was feeling sad because he had broken his favorite bat. Now a good substitute for sad in this case would be blue or green or red. Choose one quickly. The answer would be blue. Jashan was feeling blue. That means feeling sad. Next. It was selfish of Hemant to drink all the water. Selfish can be replaced with happy or cruel or self-centered. And yes, the answer is self-centered. Next, it is sensible to wear warm clothes in winter. Sensible can be replaced with practical or fashionable or solemn. The answer would be practical. Next, the sharp scissors cut through the paper. Sharp can be replaced with blunt or rough or keen. The answer is keen. Next, the squash ball has a smooth surface. Smooth can be replaced with polished or hard or rigged. The right answer is polished. With that, we come to the end of the session. It's been a very interesting session because it's been so activity oriented, but it's quite an important session as well. We need to make sure that we can enunciate the sir and the sh sounds clearly. We can, of course, carry on practicing the words and the sentences we have available as material. At the end of the day, both our sir and sh sounds should be clear and we should not confuse the two sounds. I'll see you again in some other session. Until then, bye-bye.